Hi guys, and welcome to my review of Inside Out. I saw this movie over the summer, and I know it's been a while since this movie came out, but I thought better late than never, especially since I really enjoyed this film. So, um, Inside Out, for anybody who doesn't know, hasn't seen the film, is a CGI animated animated movie made by Pixar, who have done such movies as Finding Nemo, all three Toy Stories, The Incredibles, and they have been hailed for a long time, and probably still are, despite a few minor hiccups in recent years, as the kings of CGI animation. And Inside Out, for a long time, people have anticipated it as going to be Pixar's return to greatness. The film that pulled them up from a little bit of a slide they've been having with films like Brave, which didn't do very well, or like Cars 2 and whatever they're on right now. I think Planes and Rescue #4. But anyway, so this particular film, Inside Out, it follows a young girl named Riley and her family, and it's all about the insides of her head. It personifies or makes her emotions into characters: fear, anger, disgust, joy, and sadness. And they run her mind like from a control room, and you get to see like other parts of her mind like represented as this sort of like business like infrastructure. And it's really, really clever, this movie. It it's a little bit like Monsters Incorporated. If you've seen that, like just how everything like is made into all the monsters world is made into a business, a way that we as regular humans can relate to the monsters. It's like that, but it's in her head. Like it's all made into systems and control rooms and storage areas, which are the real parts of your real brain, but represented in a way that everybody can understand. And it's so clever in the way it does this. I can't think of one single like area of Riley's mind that gets touched upon that doesn't feel like it fits perfectly. The metaphor they're using and the way the brain actually works, at least as far as I know. So as far as the plot goes, I'm going to give as little away as possible, because honestly, I think the less you know about what's going to happen in the movie, the more fun it is. But the most basic thing going into it is that joy and sadness fall out of the control room, basically, along with some of Riley's core emotions, and they have to get back to the control room. Otherwise, Riley is literally going to have a mental breakdown, and parts of her brain are going to start falling apart, and she can't function with just fear, anger, and disgust, not for very long and not correctly. So it's them trying to get back. It's joy and fear, no, joy and sadness trying to get back to the control room, and they have to go through the various parts of her mind to get there. Her subconscious, her memory, all kinds of really fun stuff. And this movie, right off the bat, I can tell you, it is going to be an instant Pixar classic. It's going to be up there with Finding Nemo and Toy Story and The Incredibles. And Monsters Incorporated. It's going to be it's the next one on the list. If you like Pixar films, which who doesn't like Pixar films? But if you like Pixar films, this is absolutely a film that you're going to want to own, put on your shelf next to all the other great ones. It's so clever, and it's extremely relatable. I mean, I've never been a little girl, but just the way her emotions are played. The only way that you can't relate to this film is if you don't feel emotions. Everyone can see something of themselves in this character, in the way her emotions play off of each other, and in the way her mind works. It's so like everybody can find something to relate to in this film, which just gives it a universal appeal. Everyone can enjoy this movie. A curious thing about the film is it doesn't really have a clear villain. there's characters that are obstacles to our main heroes, but really it's more of an adventure, like a mental adventure in her mind, and the various problems that come up, as opposed to one big bad guy inside her mind or outside her mind trying to stop our heroes or hurt Riley. But really, that doesn't take away from this movie at all. Uh, it still functions perfectly well, and you don't even notice that there's not a bad guy. You don't. In fact, a bad guy would probably feel a little bit out of place in this sort of story. Taking place in the mind of a little girl. I think she's supposed to be like 8 or 9, something like that, maybe a little bit older. It doesn't deal with like all the things that could be explored in this sort of film, like all the facets of especially adult minds, but it hints at it a little bit. Especially you get snapshots of some other characters' minds besides just Riley's, and it hints at more adult themes and more varied themes. And ultimately what it does is it gives you a sort of a springboard. Like it sort of hints at that theme, but with what they've set up of Riley's mind, you can sort of see what a movie in any other character's mind might look like, or even in your own mind, which is what makes this movie so fun, is just thinking about how it relates to how you think and what emotions do you feel. So with that being said, this movie is, I think, my favorite movie of the year so far. I really, really loved Inside Out. It was just so clever, so relatable, and such a good time. It was definitely an evening well spent. So my official rating for this movie is go watch it right now. You can probably rent it at this point. Go find this movie if you just want a good time. This movie will not disappoint. And if you're already a fan of Pixar's work, and you already own those films, you could even go buy it and be perfectly safe. Alright, so I want to pose a question to you guys, just because I'm pretty curious. One of the more fun things I found to do with this film is every character has a dominant emotion. Whichever emotion that they use the most or react to their environment with the most. And I found that my dominant emotion is fear. The one I just use the most in everyday life. So after you see the movie, leave a comment on what you think your dominant emotion is. I just found it's a really fun game to play. Okay, with that said, click here if you want to see more of my movie reviews for this year. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.